All right, let's cut through all the noise out there. All the confusing advice in the fitness world? Today, we're building a simple, science-backed blueprint. This is for crafting a balanced, powerful physique. No more guesswork, I promise. Just the straight-up science on what actually gets results. I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. How many times have you walked into the gym and just kind of winged it, done a bunch of random exercises and just hoped for the best? Look, we've all been there. But what if you had a real plan, a structured, effective system based on principles that are actually proven to work? Well, that's exactly what we're laying out today. So let's dive right in.
Okay, before we even touch a single weight, we've got to start with the why. Because honestly, understanding why your muscles grow, that's the key to actually making them grow. It's the foundation for everything else. And it all boils down to the science of what we call hypertrophy.
So what's so cool here is how we can take a really complex process and just simplify it. Building muscle, that whole hypertrophy thing, it really just comes down to these three main drivers. First up, you've got mechanical tension. That's just lifting heavy, challenging weights. Simple. Second is metabolic stress. Oh, you know this feeling. It's the pump, right? When your muscles feel super full and tight. And number three, muscle damage. These are tiny microscopic tears that your workout creates. Your body then rushes to repair them, but it overcompensates, making the muscle bigger and stronger for next time. Pretty cool, huh?
But here's the absolute key. You can chase the pump, you can get sore, but if you're missing this one single principle, you're going to hit a wall. I guarantee it. So listen up. Progressive overload is the engine that drives everything. It's the #1 non-negotiable law of muscle growth. It just means you have to constantly force your muscles to do a little more than they're used to. That's it. That's the secret sauce.
So how do we actually do that? Well, it's not just about slapping more plates on the bar, even though that's a great way to do it. You have so many options. You could add just one more rep than you did last week, or maybe an extra set. You could focus on perfecting your form, really making that muscle work harder through a better range of motion. You can even slow down your tempo or strategically cut your rest times. Think of this as your toolkit for making sure you're always moving forward.
All right, so we've got the science locked in. We know the why. Now let's get into the how. We're going to take all of that theory and turn it into practical, easy-to-follow rules for the gym. This is where we build the actual structure for your training week.
Rule number 1, frequency. And the research on this is super clear. For optimal growth, you want to be hitting each major muscle group about twice a week. Think of it like this. The first workout sends a signal to your body to grow, but that second workout later in the week, that reinforces the signal. It's like telling your body, hey, I'm serious about this. We need to adapt and get stronger.
Next up, let's talk volume. This is your total workload for the week. And these numbers right here, this is basically the sweet spot for weekly sets. You'll notice that bigger, more complex muscle groups, like your back and your legs, they can handle, and frankly, they need a bit more work to really grow. So just think of these numbers as your weekly target, your goal to hit. And this right here shows you exactly where the magic happens. Look, super low reps, great for raw strength. Really high reps, that's more for endurance. But that hypertrophy sweet spot, the place where you get the most bang for your buck for building muscle size, it's right here in that 6 to 15 rep range. This is the zone where you're going to want to live for most of your training.
Okay, so we've got the why and the how covered. Now it's time for the fun part, the what. Let's actually build the first part of our workout plan. We're going to start with a blueprint for a powerful, well-rounded upper body, specifically chest and back.
So here they are, the 5 cornerstone exercises for a fully developed chest. And there's a real strategy here. It's not random. We're starting with the big, heavy compound lift, the barbell bench, for overall mass. Then we move to an incline press to make sure we hit that upper chest. And we finish things off with movements like cable flies to really isolate the muscle and chase that metabolic stress. You know, that awesome pump.
But let's be real for a second. The best exercise list in the world is totally useless without good form. Technique is everything. So for chest, I want you to really think about actively squeezing the muscle at the top of every single rep. Use a full range of motion, and please, keep those shoulder blades pinched together. That's not just going to protect your shoulders, it's what forces your chest to do all the heavy lifting.
All right, let's flip it around and hit the other side of the torso. A truly impressive back has two things, width and thickness. And this plan is designed to give you both. We're starting with movements like pull-ups to build that wide V taper. Then we're adding in some heavy rows to build that dense, powerful thickness right down the middle.
Okay, if you take away just one tip for back training today, let it be this. This is a game changer. Stop thinking about pulling the weight with your hands. Instead, I want you to imagine you have hooks on your elbows and you're pulling with your elbows. Drive them back and down. That one little mental cue is the secret to actually feeling it in your lats instead of just getting a bicep workout.
You know, a truly impressive physique, it's built from the ground up. So let's talk about the foundation, legs. Seriously, if you want a balanced, powerful, athletic build, skipping leg day is just not an option, period.
And here it is, the blueprint for a solid foundation. The barbell squat is, without a doubt, the king of all leg exercises for size and strength. We follow that up with Romanian deadlifts to really hammer the hamstrings and glutes. Then we pile on movements like the leg press and lunges to drive that volume up and hit every single muscle fiber. And yes, we are absolutely training calves.
Now, leg day often means moving some serious weight, so your technique has to be on point. This is non-negotiable, okay? It's for your safety and for your results. Always, always watch your knees. Make sure they're tracking right over your feet. Brace your core like you're about to take a punch. And most importantly, prioritize a deep, controlled movement over just ego lifting. Leave the ego at the door.
Okay, this next part is absolutely critical. You could have the best workout plan on the planet, but you've got to remember this. You don't actually build muscle in the gym. In the gym, you're just stimulating it. The real growth, that happens when you go home, you eat, and you rest. So believe me when I say this section is just as important, maybe even more important than everything we've talked about so far.
If you only remember one single number from this whole thing, please make it this one. Protein is literally the building blocks for repairing and growing muscle. Your target is right around 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein for every kilogram of your body weight. And you need to hit that every single day. That's how you make sure your body has all the raw materials it needs to build you back bigger and stronger.
And finally, let's talk about recovery. And I want you to think of recovery as an active process, not just something that happens. Quality sleep, like 7 to 9 hours a night, is non-negotiable. That's when your body releases key growth hormones. A planned deload week every 6 to 8 weeks, that's your secret weapon to let your system fully recover from all that hard work. And things like foam rolling or mobility work can really help you manage soreness. This stuff isn't optional, people. It's a fundamental piece of the puzzle.
So there you have it. The science, the rules, the workouts, the recovery, the whole shebang. This is the blueprint. It's clear, it's effective, and it's based on proven science. The entire plan is laid out for you. The only question left is, are you ready to build?